Another one of my videos. This one is how to use benchmark percents to find other percents. And those benchmark percents that we're going to be talking about are 50, 25, 10%, and 1%. Those are percents that are fairly easy to find, and you can use those percents and combinations of those percents to almost find any other percent that you need. So we're going to talk about how you can find those percents, 25%, 50%. We're going to review, I have another video on how to find 1 and 10%, but we're going to review those in this video also. Then if you're in my class, there's a worksheet we'll be working on. If not, just find some percentage problems. This is a pretty common thing. And this is a way you can do a lot of these problems mentally. So that's what kind of this is a goal to help you do these mentally. So let's go ahead and look at this first little thing that kind of talks about how to do all these. So 50% is half of something. So to find 50% of a number, you can simply divide that number by 2 because you just want to know what half of it is. And if we divide it by 2, we have half of it. 25% is a fourth. And these are fractions and percents you need to relate together. So 25% is a fourth. To find 25% of a number, we just need to divide by 4. Because a fourth of something, if we divide it by 4, we find out what a fourth of it is. Okay, 10% of a number is 1/10 of something. So to find a 10th percent, we divide by 10. And we talked about that the other day. That just moves the decimal one place to the left when we divide by 10. And 1% is a hundredth of something. So when we divide by 100 to find 1%, and that moves the decimal 2 places to the left when we do that. So these are percents that are fairly easy to find if we work through them. So let's go ahead and go through this. Okay, so 50% of 244 is, and again, to find 50%, we divide it by 2. So we just take 244 and divide it by 2. 200 divided by 4 is 100. 44 divided by 4 is 22. So we end up with 122. Now, 25% of 30 is, now I know, so we want a fourth of that. So we want to take 30 and divide it by 4. I know 4 goes into 30 28 times with 2 left over, which 2 would be 0.5 is half of 4. So that's going to go in there 7.5 times. Okay. And if you have to divide these out, some of these you may have to divide them out, use long division to get them. But a lot of these you can kind of think through them and get these. And there are other strategies. You can combine these strategies. If you didn't know what 25% is, you could have found out what 10% of it was and worked out what 25% of it was that way. So you can combine these strategies. Sometimes 25 isn't the easiest one to find because sometimes things aren't divisible by 4 very easily. So let's take a look at this one. 10% of 47 is, so in order to find 10%, remember we divide by 10. So when we divide by 10, it just moves our decimal 1 place. So 10% of 47 is 4 7/10, 4.7. Okay, and the last one, we want to find out what 1% of 530 is. So in order to do that, we need to divide it by 100. And when we divide it by 100, it moves the decimal over 2 places. And there are no decimals in these. We just need to remember if there's no decimal, it's at the end of the number, and we just don't write it if it's at the end of the number, and it's going to move that decimal over 2 places, and we're going to end up at 5 3/30, or 5 3/10, whichever way you look at it. And that is our answer for this one. So again, dividing these out by, find 50%, we divide by 2. To find 25%, we divide by 4. To find 10%, we divide by 10. To find 1%, we divide by 100. And again, these bottom ones, it's just moving the decimal. And if you are struggling with dividing by 4, just use the 50% and these other ones. You can find most percents using them. Okay, let's go on to a couple more examples. So what is 75% of 48? One way we can look at this one is 75 is 50 and 25. That makes up 75. So if we start with 48, let's find 50% of it. 50% would be 48 divided by 2, which would give us 24. So that's what 50% of it would be. To figure out what 25% of 48 would be, we would take 48 and divide it by 12. Or sorry, 48 and divide it by 4, which would give us 12. Okay, so the 24 is 50%. The 12 is 25% because we divided by 4. 50% we divided by 2. Now to get 75%, since we just add those two together and we end up with 36. So 75% of 48 is 36. Okay, so we just find those percents. All right, let's look at this next one. We have 150% of 72. First of all, 100% of 72 is just 72, so we already know that. So we need to find what 50% it is, because 150% is 100% and 50%. Okay, so we can find what 50% is by taking 72 and dividing it by 2. I know half of 70 is 35. I know half of 2 is 1. So I add 35 and 1. That gives me 36. So I end up with 36 when I take 72 and divide it by 2. So now I have to add that to 72 to find 150% of 72, because 72 is the whole and 36 is the 50%. And add those two together, we get 108. So 150% of 72 is 108. And always be thinking about whether we're going to get a smaller number or a bigger number when we're finding a percent of a number. If it's less than 100, we're going to get a smaller number. If it's more than 100%, then we're going to get a larger number when we finish. So that's a way you can decide if we're going to get it, if you're getting it right or wrong. Let's take a look at one more example here. Okay, a carton contains 2 liters of tropical juice. The juice consists of 25% mango juice, 30% pineapple juice, and the rest is guava juice. How many milliliters of each juice went into the 2-liter carton of tropical juice? Okay, so we need to find out how much mango juice. Okay, mango juice is 25%. So in order to do that, we need to take 2 and divide it by 4. That would be a fraction of 1/2 if we wrote that as a fraction, which would be 0.5. So that's how we could do that one. That's a quick one. You should know that 1/2 is 0.5. So 2 liters divided by 4 is 0.5. So we have 0.5 liters of mango juice. Let's figure out the pineapple juice. It is, so we have 2 liters. We need to find out what that is. Let's find out what 10% is first. So we divide by 10. We have 0.2. So 0.2 liters is 10%. We have 3 of those. So we times that by 3. So we have 0.6. We have 6/10 of it is pineapple juice. So now we know our mango juice and our pineapple juice. Now we could figure out what percentage is it. We could add the 25 and the 30 together and figure out that we have 55 and that 45% of the juice is guava juice, and figure out what 45% of 2 is. But we could also just realize that the total is, again, these are percent's always a part to whole relationship. So I know that the whole is 2 liters, and I know that the mango juice is 5.5 or 5/10, and the pineapple juice is 0.6, and my whole, so I'm going to take the parts that I know away from the whole, and that will give me the left. So I end up with 2 minus 1.1, which is 0.9. So I end up with 0.9 liters of guava juice. So we have 0.5 liters of mango juice, 0.6 liters of pineapple juice, and 0.9 liters of guava juice. So again, we could use the part to whole. We could have, like I said, we could have also just found out what 45% of 2 liters was, and we would have got the same answer for that. So there's a couple ways you could do this. You could either find the percentage of the guava juice and then find the percentage of 2, or we could just use the part to whole relationship here and take the others away. But good luck with these. We'll be doing some more problems like this next few days in my class. Let me know if you have any questions, and have a good day. Bye.